Hello, this is Kyle Van Hook, and I'm here to show you my my Fire at Will project for Unity. Uh, so first, starting off, let's go to the game manager. We have a game manager here. This class is the class that holds the Singleton, and this public static game manager instance, which an instance of a game manager, is a singleton. A singleton is a variable that is accessible between every one of these scripts. It can be accessed anywhere for whatever reason. Sometimes not good reasons, sometimes not bad reasons. We can use this to connect. I don't know. Say we need to play a sound somewhere, and it's rather hard to actually get a sound component in the area of like I don't know, a projectile for some reason. We can do that. The That's the helpful thing. We can pretty much a singleton is something we can access anywhere. The issue is that if you use it too much and basically use it as a crutch, it can make your code rather messy. And also, if you change like one thing here, you'll have to change everything from where you've used it before. So that's something to keep an eye on. Anyways, this is the game manager script. This my singleton, it keeps track of a couple things. It keeps track of the player pawn, of a bool if the player is dead, which has to do with one of my new death component. Uh, a bool to track whether to play death message, which is somewhere down below, and it also tracks a list of damage zones or damage on overlap. Going through this in void awake, which is basically a function that starts before the game even begins. We check if this instance is null. If it is, we make this instance, the one that's currently in the scene, this instance, this game manager instance. If it is not, we will destroy the current game object, because that means this game instance has already been made, and we do not want two game managers in a scene. Uh, so I guess that's basically how the singleton works. I guess I'll go over damage and overlap. Basically, I made a list for that. In the awake, I'm getting damage zones. I'm instantiating damage zones with a new list, and heading on to damage on overlap. I've made it so that when it starts, the game manager will add this instance of the damage on overlap to the list, and when it is destroyed, it will remove this. Now, the reason this is important is because any enemy or any object that has the damage on zones is basically an enemy we can destroy, like a meteorite or spaceship, because we expect them to hurt us on contact. But in the update, we are constantly checking if the damage zones. So, first of all, we are checking if our damage zone, the amount in the list, is equal to 0. Because if it equals 0, that means the list is now empty. And we're also checking if play death message is true. And by default, play death message here is always false, at least beginning. If both of these are true, we'll go to our new function in here called win game. And all this does is it plays it types onto the debug log victory, and it then sets the play death message to false. And the reason I even have this here is because since this is in the update, it would constantly be printing to the debug victory. That's probably worth a lot of memory, but also I just didn't want to do it constantly. And there's a similar one for on the bottom, lose game. We're going to, in this if statement, we're checking if the player pawn that we are basically keeping an eye on, and I should go over. Yeah, I should probably make a separate player pawn class, but this is only going to be one person, so this is fine. Anyways, in the player pawn, we're checking the manager. We're getting the manager instance player pawn, and we're setting it to this. And back to the manager. We're checking the player pawn. If it's null, we also want to make sure that the player is the player dead. Actually, wait. Actually, yeah, that's true. No, yeah, that's fine. That works fine. Anyways, if this is true, and then finally we want to make sure that play death message is true. And if all of these are true, we'll go down to the lose game. We will in the debugger type failure, and this is supposed to be off. We will make sure that play death message is false. So this should only print once. Where are you? What else? And that's basically the game manager. But in order to actually show you all the stuff for like play death, not play death manager, play death's fine. Player dead, I'm going to show you the new death destroy component. It is a child class of the death component, and it basically has the same die method, which destroys the game object, and then it goes to the GameManager.instance, and it makes sure that the variable is player equal dead. It is player dead equals true. And that's basically all it does. All right. Anything? No, I don't think anything I need to do here. Singleton. Let's shoot. All right. I'll have to show this later. Technically, yeah. Tracks targets. We got that in the Singleton. Victory condition, fail condition. All right. I think I'll just actually show you the projectile scripts I made, and then I'll show you the stuff that's in Unity. So, we actually learned, we feel about actually making projectiles that we can shoot. And this one here is my projectile script. It has a public int for move speed, a public int for damage. All right, so let's start this. I think the best thing to start is with the update, because immediately, once it is spawned, it is going to update, and then it's going to take its transform position, take the current transform position, add the transform.speed, or not, transform.up plus move speed, not plus, times move speed, and then times it times delta to make it frame rate independent. And this will make sure that it's basically always moving forward. And thanks to kind of how it's been built, it will move with, it'll rotate with the sprite, but I'll show you that later. And on public void on trigger 2D, if it comes into contact with any other object with a collider 2D, if it's going to first check if it has a health component, if yeah, I'll have to set this to equal null. I forgot that. Oh well. I'll send this forward, but that's correct. It's going to check if the other health is not null, and if it isn't null, it's going to set other health to take damage of the bullet, and then afterwards, it is going to destroy this this projectile. Now there's two destroy projectiles. This one's in the on trigger 2D collider in the case it collides with anything, And this one here is in the off chance that, say, it doesn't hit anything and it continues to go off screen. After 5 seconds of awakening and being made, it will just destroy itself. So it shouldn't take up 2 energy. All right. Going here, we have an abstract shooter class. The only abstract class it has is shoot. And then going to ShooterBullet, it is the ShooterBullet is the child class of the shooter class. It has a place for a game object, which will be the bullet prefab. It has a transform for the fire point, and I'll explain this. Should probably get rid of these, but they're fine right now. And the only thing it really needs to do is that it needs to instantiate the object at the transformation point. The reason I'm using an empty offset is because for the life of me, I could not figure out how to do positioning. I could get the transform point, get it make a new vector 3, and get it so that the so that it was one unit away from the forward position in front of the sprite. But the issue came when we were turning. The sprite would follow it would stay in that forward. What am I trying to say? It would stay in the let me do this. X and then no. Oh. All right. X is the sprite. O is the transform position. Basically, it would stay here, but if I moved, it would always fire from here. Even if I was moving right, it would not be over here. It would be up top. And I could not figure out how to rotate it. So I ended up deciding to use use an empty transform. And I'll show that later. Actually, I think, yeah, I'll show that. Where is my prefab? Starship. All right. Take this out. So this is my Starship prefab, and it has a bullet prefab that's set one position in the y-axis. So it's 1 unit away. And thanks to what it's doing here, it will not, thanks to being a child of the Starship pawn, it will always pretty much follow its rotation. So that was the easiest way I could do it after spending 2 days banging my head trying to figure out why this was not working. Showing new stuff that we made. We got shooter component here. Well, we got in the pawn shooter component. Going down, we have our ShooterBullet script. It's here. It takes the bullet prefab and has the bullet offset that was on our Starship pawn as the fire point. We also have the new DeathDestroyPlayer script that's added. Here is our actual projectile using a new sprite. It's got sprite render. It's got capsule collider. It's got a rigid body 2D. It's got projectile, which basically makes it a projectile. We can modify the move speed and the bullet damage. This is going on long, but I need to actually do this. Oh yeah, and there's one more thing. Well, at least these two right here, they're basically regular meteorites, just like the one on the left. They have all the same thing, except they have a DamageOnOverlap. They have health component. Oh, they now have a health component. That's something I've added to all 3 of these. So they can all take damage, and they can all be current health and max health can be modified. They have a death destroying component, so if they're once the die method goes, they will die and destroy themselves. And they have a custom sprite that script that I made, which is rotate, which does pretty much exactly what it says. It rotates a sprite because I wanted to make something small after banging my head for a while, or from that bullet and a little bit from the Singleton. And I decided I was going to make something quick and easy. And it's just simply it's pretty much only got two inputs. It's got the float speed that we can modify whenever we want, and we've got a vector3 rotation in the serialized field. And the reason we want this is because we pretty much only want the z-axis in this case because it's a 2D object. We don't want it to spin it on the x or y. And then in the update, since we want this to continuously spin, we're just going to transform the rotation. We're going to multiply the rotation by the rotation speed and time delta, so it's frame independent. Now, I think I've pretty much babbled on. Let's actually show this working. So, we currently, well, actually, let's instantiate. This is instantiated. It fires, which is wonderful. Also, in the debug log, it honestly basically says shooting bullet, but that was just like very early on, trying to figure out if it actually worked. And as you can see down here, all of the objects that have damage on overlap have been destroyed, and it makes and it prints a debug, or prints the debug message of victory, which is great. Yay! Also, all the meteorites, they destroyed themselves when being hit by the bullet. Let's do two things. Let's show instant death onto these. Actually, that one I know works. Let's just show everything. What the heck? You were trying to act. Why did that add so many perceptions? That's the one thing about thinking. I don't know how to. I have it so that it's constantly checking the pawn. But every time the game manager is checking the pawn, it's basically updating it in the update, and it's causing this null missing reference exception. It technically works. It does work. It does print out the failure, but it does what I'm looking for. Technically, I also wanted to make it so I could just quit. And technically, it's still in there, but I haven't commented out because I read that the way I used it really isn't good for actually building the game. So that's gonna be left out. But oh, also, I forgot. Let's actually instantiate this and then move. As you can see, like right here, my meteorites are rotating. That's good, actually. This one's slow. Let's rotate at -10. That might be a bit faster. Yeah, that's a lot faster. You can significantly see it moving. So, yeah, I think everything for this works, except for the missing exception error. Whenever my pawn dies and the game manager is looking for it. But yeah, that's everything. I'm going to go update this in the GitHub and upload this to YouTube. Thank you for watching, and please have a good day. Bye. And let's stop recording.